All right. Before we get too far into it, y'all should know the drill by now. This video is for subscribers only, so if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, I'm gonna need you to do that right now. So, basically, in the last 5 years of since you've been a professional, you've been done with school and stuff. You had started learning baseball and stuff like that before that, but really, in 5 years, you've gone from having no baseball experience to being an agent, having your own agency, and all that. What would you recommend for someone that's trying to follow in your footsteps, guy, girl, whoever? How do they get in? What would you recommend? Looking back at it, what was most helpful for you? Like, what would you recommend to them?
I mean, there's so many different paths you can take, I feel like, to get in. But one of the biggest things I would say is doing a general, like, sports management kind of degree or master's that I know a lot of people say, like, they think, oh, I'll do that. I personally think that's not the best use of your time. I think finding some niche like area where you can become an expert in it is like the most helpful thing. Whether it's, for me, it was like salary arbitration was really like what helped. But finding something, if you speak another language, Japanese, if you speak Spanish, that's incredibly helpful. If you can code, that's helpful. But something where it's like, oh.
Yeah, there's Rosario raking again.
But I think it's like finding, because basically, I guess a majority of baseball agents in general are just like guys who grew up the old school baseball. Agents really. It's guys who grew up in the game, and whether they played or whatever. And that's kind of where their expertise is. And so, just saying that you love the game or grew up in it, like everyone, except for me, maybe.
Yeah, that doesn't differentiate you.
Yeah. And even in a lot of times, even having a law degree now doesn't necessarily separate you. But so it's like having something else, whereas like no agent has ever gone through and even been in as many hearings as me. In all, like even Boris would be like, he's not, the amount of hearings he's actually been in. I've been in like 27, he's been in I think like 11 in all those years. So like having something that was so different and unique like was really helpful.
So some areas like salary arbitration is one. If you got in with the union, stuff like that. If you're someone that knows baseball and also can code, and do analysis and stuff like that. What are some other
The other thing you can do though too is, I always tell people, like, find a project that you can do independently when you're trying to get into the sport, and show that regardless of whether someone is giving you an internship or a job or whatever, that you're passionate about it on your own, and you're going to go do something on your own, whether it's build a website and start blogging, whether it's writing articles, whether it's do some project on. I remember when I was trying to get a job at first after law school, I did a whole research project on like the setup reliever and whether he's more valuable than the closer. And that was like purely just for my own, like, something to kind of pass the time in a way and show that, I'm like passionate about baseball. I'm trying to learn. Maybe this will be helpful to somebody. But doing that, I think, is always, whenever someone has something independent that they're doing,